Welcome to One Thing Tech. I trust you're ready to get started. So am I. So we're going to dive right in. Today we are talking about agent sites, and we can, at a later point in time, dive deep into what does it look like to make something that we would understand as traditionally being very robust and include a blog and everything. The great thing about our sites is that they're not with your content in mind at its core. At its core is the consumer experience. And you'll see as we go through, everything is built to give the consumer experience, really to allow the consumer experience to shine. And so the setup of this site is very simple. The navigation from the consumer side is very simple. And within a matter of probably 30 minutes, you can have your brand new website up and running if you don't already. Now, those of you who have already launched your website and you'd like to go back and refine it, we'll work through that as well. And I think you'll find some places where you can maybe tweak some things and get it up and running. But I'm going to share my screen here. We are in Command. This is a home screen. I'm logging into my wife's account, and so you'll see this from scratch. I've not customized. She's not customized anything on the agent side of things. So on the very left-hand side, we can go down to consumer. But before we do that, I want to show you first step. Now, we've covered this in a previous session, but I do want to point this out real quick. If you click on your name up at the top right and hit settings, and we come over to here to connect settings, your marketing profile is very important. Just completing this marketing profile alone is going to do about half the work that it takes to get your agent site launched. This marketing profile with your brokerage info, your biography, your logos, your market center logos, ownership statement, all of that weaves seamlessly into the new KW app and your agent site so that when you go to set it up, it's going to pull all this content in. So if you're watching this on replay, or if you guys choose to go and complete this afterward, I would strongly recommend complete this piece first, but we're going to jump over and see what it looks like if we don't complete the piece. So if we go straight to consumer site, these are all the different landing pages that we might create, but right here in the middle, we can click agent site pages. Now, by default, you'll have nothing. I'm going to walk you through a Kelly guide, and this guide will take you through step by step of creating your website. Once you complete it, you'll have a number of different pieces, 3 primarily. So let's jump over to a live site real quick. This is just the millsgroup.kw.com. And when you've completed the entire guide, this is going to be what it will look like similarly. You get a landing page, you get a search box. You can change these images that are on the home screen here. You can change the text that is right here as a welcome. Most of the content is here in the drop-down. When you hit the drop-down, these 3 pages, the one that I've got titled Smart Homeowner Experience, Meet the Team, and Contact Us, are the 3 different pages that will appear in Command as editable pieces. They're simple. They're crafted with widgets that are very easy to customize. And they're very clear. You've got one that's kind of a bio about you. You've got one that is just a lead form, a contact capture. And then you've got one that'll talk about your business or talk about your team. You can use this to, what I have in the Smart Homeowner Experience, I talk a little bit about working with us, but you can use this to outline the members of your team or areas of specialty that you have. You can choose. Now understand, you can add more pages if you choose. Start with these, get them looking nicely, and then add stuff on later on. So we'll pull back over. So we can see that we don't have anything here. And in fact, where it says, see your configured agent site here, if we click that, it goes to a generic kw.com. At the top, we'll see we have the address is correct, but all the rest of the information here is generic Keller Williams. So if we went to just kw.com, this is essentially the exact same thing we'd see. Nothing here is branded to the agent at this point. In order to get that, on the very right-hand side, you'll see configure your site. Now, if you have already configured your site, you're going to see a button that says learn more with Kelly guides, and you'll get an option of 2 different Kelly guides. The Kelly guide that we want to choose is the one about agent sites, not the one about building the consumer guides, which is something we've covered in a previous session, and I'm sure we'll go in depth again in the future. So for the first time configuring our site, we get 3 different options here. I want to use the new KW agent sites is the one that we want. If you just want to forward over from Playster, or if you want to look at the Brivity platform or other web developers, you can buy through GoDaddy and such. The KW Marketplace does have other options. Understand this, they don't have all of the same back end built into them. They're not, most of them will not be directly connected to your contact database in Command, and they will not have the Kelly Insights, the neighborhoods feature for the search. Really, they're not going to have KWLS 2.0 integrated. At the very least, they won't be integrated fully. So we're going to click, I want to use the new KW agent sites and submit. This is going to pop us automatically into the Kelly guide. Now, again, if you've already gone through this once, you'll see a different interface. You'll click the left-hand button, which is the one that will take you to this exact same Kelly guide. It tells you what you're going to get out of it. You're going to choose your styling after you choose your subdomain, and then you're going to create individual pages like I just showed you. Now, before I move on, if you want a more in-depth look, you can go to kwconnect.com. And I've pointed this out several times. If you go to technology up here at the top and click Command Your Business, there's an entire module. In fact, there are several, but there's one module around specifically what we're talking about today. So in Command Your Business, we simply scroll down and we look at the Command Your Consumer Experience with the KW app and sites. Click on Recommended Training. The very first module here, Session 1, is your agent site. And it talks about the entire process of going through this Kelly guide and setting it up. It goes a little bit more in depth with the other pieces and how to customize and create new pages. We're not even going to worry about that today. So we're here at the Kelly guide. And once we hit get started, it gives you a few reminders of pieces that you'll need to have posted. You must have your market center's logo. You must have your IABS and your CPN. And your ownership statement, if that's applicable, each office independently owned and operated. Once you acknowledge and continue, it's going to start it up. There is a link on that splash screen right there. If you don't have your market center's logo, you can click in and find the DBA logo and download it. The first choice you have here is to select a subdomain. Now you have a subdomain parked for you already. It likely will be the same as whatever precedes your @KW in your Keller Williams email. So if your email is jocelyn-mills@kw.com, your subdomain is going to be jocelyn-mills.kw.com. Should be very similar. And you can choose a different one. So if you wish to put something else in and want to check and see if just Jocelyn's available, you can then claim domain. If it's available, it'll let you know. Otherwise, you get this red box that says, sorry, that subdomain's already taken. And so you would just type in a different one instead. Once you're happy with the one that you've got, so I'm going to refresh here. I'm going to keep the one that I have right here. I'm going to continue on with the marketing profile information. Now, from the beginning, I said if you complete your marketing profile, it's going to pull this in automatically for you. This is the bulk of your work right here. I've not done most of this, and so it's going to have limited information here. You obviously have your name, your market center or brokerage name, your brokerage address, your team name. And understand you want this to be all spelled properly, capitalized properly, because this is going to be what will be, this will be outward facing, visible to the consumer. If you have additional certifications or additional roles, so if you are a realtor and the owner of the company, if in this case, Jocelyn is an appraiser, so I would put that there as well. Whatever the case it is, we'd want to put the job title there. You could put an email and leave it as is, or change it to whatever is not in the system. Office number, this is important. It does exclude spaces or special characters. It will format for you automatically when it goes to post it on the site. Include your mobile number. You can include a bio. If you're not sure what to include, just make it short at first. Have a short bio. You can always go back and really curate something nice that you want your website to say about you. If you're looking for a guide, there is, if you go to KW Connect and search State Your Value Interactive Guide, it is a great walkthrough in identifying your unique value and then weave it into a bio. It's a pretty great piece. Your agent license number you want to have there, your compliance and legal footer. In this case, I'm just going to simply say each office is independently owned and operated. Check with your broker to see what they want you to put here specifically. Certain market centers will vary. Your brokerage license number, office phone number, obviously. Now, I'm going to pause here for a moment, and we're going to do just a brief overview. We've looked at how to do this in the past, but I'm going to show it again because it's very important, and it's very simple once you have the skill. We have two in the state of Texas, two pieces that we must include that are just one click away. If you're in New Mexico or Memphis, this may be a bit different for you, but whatever your required display documents are, the process is going to be the same. I'm going to pull over a different window. We need to get the link for two of them. So I'm in Google Drive. If you don't have your files, you can just simply have a PDF of these files that you need and upload it. You click New and click File Upload. Once they're there, it's going to look like this. If I right-click on it and click Get Shareable Link, this one, the link sharing is off. It means even if I had a link for it, nobody's going to have access to it. So I'm going to mark that so it's turned on, but I see the rule here is anyone at Infinite Real Estate Services with the link can view. That's not enough because the people I want to show it to are outside of my organization. So I'm going to click Sharing Settings, going to open up the full options here. At this drop down, I'm going to click More. I want anyone with the link can view it. You can have it public on the web, either one of these, as long as if they click the link, it pulls up. That's important. We're going to save that. Takes me back to this dialog box, and I can copy the link. Let's copy that entire piece, and then I can paste it right here. So the thought is now when somebody clicks on this link, let me make sure I know which one. That's the wrong piece. So this is the CPN. So I'm going to title it TREC Consumer Protection Notice. And that's not the only one I need. I also need the TREC information about brokerage services. So I'll type that out, and then I'm going to do the same thing with this other link. I'll right-click it, Get Shareable Link. This one is public on the web, and the link sharing is already turned on, so that makes it really easy. I'm simply going to copy the link, come back over here, and then paste it right there. On the left-hand side, the entire time you're customizing this, this is your preview of your entire site. So at this time, we can scroll down, and at the bottom of the page, we can see that we now have two clickable links. When I click the Consumer Protection Notice, I get a PDF of the Consumer Information Protection Notice. When I click on the information about brokerage services, same deal, it's a link and it gives me a PDF of the IABS. These are imperative to have. I would highly recommend, do not make it past this screen. Even if you tell yourself you'll come back to it later, don't make it past the screen without putting those in first. All right, so moving on. If you have something that your broker requires you include as an image, you can do it there as well. profile picture. So the rest of this, again, if you have your marketing profile set up, this is going to pull in automatically. You can click upload for your profile picture. You're going to want to format this to a size that is appropriate. We can see on the screen here, it asks for 360 by 360 pixels. In this case, I'm going to come over to my folder where I keep some pieces. I know I've got an image that says Seth and Jocelyn Square. That's the one I want. It's going to give me an option to crop it down to a square if I wish. But I'm going to include the entire thing and set the image. So it pulls in. If your image is too large in size, or if it's too large in file size, meaning the resolution is too high, it'll give you an error code here. Just know you'll need to get, you'll need an appropriately sized image. Not just anything will work. Same thing with your Market Center brokerage logo. You'll click upload. We'll find that piece. I have that here. I'm going to set the image. So that's pulled in. The team header or team logo, you can pull this in as well. Now they're recommending that it's a square, but this can be a differently sized image. So if you want it to be wider, you want it to be longer, you can do that as well. It's still the best idea to just use a square. It's going to work the best. It's more scalable than anything else. Same deal when we click it, we're going to need to pull it open. This one I don't have formatted to a square, so I'll come back to this later. Right here, you can input all of your social media links. Now, by default, it's going to have the Keller Williams links in there. You can clear those out. If you don't use Facebook and you don't want the Keller Williams Facebook to show up, you can simply clear this out and it won't show up. Once you do include it, it's going to look like this. When you're on your agent site, in that drop-down menu, you'll have these social media links at the bottom here. When you click those links, it simply just takes you out into the other platform directly to your profile, whatever it might be. If you do use YouTube, if you do use LinkedIn, Facebook, you can choose whether you link to a business Facebook page or your personal Facebook page, whichever you like. But you would simply go to the public view of it and you copy this entire link and you just simply paste it in right there. There's nothing fancy about this, just links to social media. Once you're finished with all this content, you'll save and continue. You get the green dialog box up at the top. It flashes very quick, but it'll tell you that everything worked out. If it doesn't continue on to the next page, it may be that you got a red dialog box that tells you an error. You may have missed an important piece of information that you need to enter. Just make sure to complete that entire marketing profile before you carry on. Right here, we do have two themes. There's a red heavy theme or a dark theme. You can see the outline of my browser here. This is what the dark theme will essentially look like. You mostly don't get, some of you will, most of you will not get an updated view when you choose between the two styles here. So I'd recommend, if you're really curious, complete your entire agent site. Once it launches, you can go back in and switch between red and dark theme and see which one you like better. For here, I'm just going to keep with the red theme. Your homepage text, I told you at the beginning that this is customizable. You'll type in whatever you'd like here. And then your homepage hero image, you have 5 that it'll cycle through automatically. So let me come back to my home screen here. Every time I refresh, it is going to be one of the 5 at random. Sometimes you'll get the same one. Sometimes you'll get a different one. It has stock images in there already that you can use. If you choose, you can upload your own. Just know these are really large images, and it's the primary thing that you see when your consumers go to your website. Make it a really good image. If you're going to provide your own photos, make it really high resolution. I would recommend strongly not to just go out on Google or Bing and find images that you like and upload them. There is a lot of stock imagery that you can use, but if you use something copyrighted here and you don't have access to that copyright, you could be in big trouble later on. You can preview what all these images look like as you customize them. In order to upload, you'll need to delete some of the ones that exist. You can click upload here and just pull in your own. Again, there's a limit of 5 photos. You have to remove some of these before you can then upload a new one. Same interface, just pull in a photo. Pretty simple. So that entire step 2 is all about that home page. The rest of this in the content phase is going to be your about us, basically your company profile, your personal bio, and your contact us page. We have, again, the entire preview will be on the left-hand side. You have 2 main bodies of text here with headlines. You have a footer, which you can type out as well. And then you've got a header text right here. So this is going to be the main banner up at the top, and that's the page title. So we see this says company profile. You could title it whatever creative thing you like. Once this updates, this is the actual text that'll show here where it says company profile. Your URL slug. So essentially right now this would be jocelyn.mills or -mills.kw.com/about-us. This is the part that comes at the end of your web name. So if you want to change what this says, if this is about meet the team, let's spell it correctly though. We could type out meet-the-team. When you click on this page, that's what you'll see. SEO description, this is if you want to drive people through organic Google searches or other organic web traffic, this is where you'll put in. So realtors serving North Texas. There is a lot of thought that goes into SEO. I'm sure there are plenty of SEO experts on the call with us today. If you aren't, find somebody who is. You can type something in here, but just know SEO is very powerful if you do it at a high level. It takes a lot of understanding what kind of keywords actually drive traffic. The content here. So this is where in your intro paragraph will be this portion right here. Your headlines, you can control the rest. These images are editable. You simply upload a new image if you want to customize it. The image, the recommended size, again, like all of this, is 360 by 360 pixels. That is a relatively small image. The purpose behind that is your page will load very quickly. So I would recommend stick with that. Most of this is very self-explanatory. What I want to tell you is this. If you're looking for custom solutions and you want to have something like what I have here, this is a widget. This is an HTML widget. If you have a blog, you can get the same kind of thing. This is New Home Source Professional, and on their website, it's an HTML widget. It's just a bunch of HTML code that I didn't have to write. I just copied and I pasted it. There are certain text boxes on your agent site that will work to post HTML content. The intro paragraph is one of them. It is a simple text box. You can type in whatever you like, whatever HTML code, and it's going to pull up there. I choose not to use that as text. Most agents do. But if you want something that looks neat, whether that's an embedded video, or if you want to have blog entries, or if you want to put your New Home Source Professional widget in there, you can do all of that. That page is by far the most involved of them. This one is the About Me page. Again, you can change the title, you can change the subdirectory, and then you can change your SEO description, just like any of these pages here.
Hey, Seth?
Yes.
I'm sorry, on that HTML, do you have a specific lesson or whatnot showing that information specifically?
No, I don't at this point. We'll probably cover some of the more advanced tactics in building pages later on. But if you have an HTML widget that's been offered from YouTube or some other website that you want to host content on your website, you can just simply copy and paste it right into that text box.
So like, for instance, today I was trying to do what's my home worth, and it went to, I did that, searched on YouTube, found one that specifically showed how to do it,
Mhm.
However, it was saying use like the team or the contact page and then put in that, embed the code right there in the paragraph.
Yep.
But it needed to select a team. And my agent, my cat, she's not a team. So anyway, so that's what
Gotcha.
specifically what I saw. So we could just put the actual HTML link right in that box.
Yeah, in several of the text boxes. Not every one of the text boxes have that ability, but several of them do.
Okay. Well, that being one of them, I'll try that.
Okay. Yeah, the one that I just
Thanks.
showed you is one. That's a great place to start. You can add additional pages. And like I said, we'll cover this more advanced features in the future and look at creating pages just with the sole intention to host HTML.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This About Me page, this bio, I don't believe is one of the parts that HTML will work, but it's pretty simple. Once you type out your bio, whether it's from your marketing profile or it's in that first step that I showed you, whatever you type in there is going to come out right here. Your email address, your phone number, it'll all be formatted. Again, we can see the contact phone is here without dashes, spaces, parentheses, but then the widget formats it for us automatically. The third one is a contact card. This one's very simple. Again, we can change the title, the subdirectory, and the SEO. Once we click on content, the intro paragraph is what you'll have right here below contact us. So something friendly. And then the message hint is what's going to show up in this box right here. That's going to vanish when somebody starts typing in. But as long as somebody's not typed in, they're going to see everything that you put in the message hint. So if you have a certain way that you'd like people to communicate with you, if you got certain information that you'd like to collect from them, if they're submitting an inquiry on your website, tell them that here. Include your phone and email address. It'll give you a chance to change it there as well. We save and continue, and that's it, guys. Once we format the home page and those 3 additional pages, that's it. And we can simply go to, so we're going to go back to manage sites, or we can just exit out of this Kelly guide. It's going to take us to the same place. So once we click on agent sites now, we saw nothing before, we now have 3 different sites that are created. Contact Us, About Me, and About Us. We're going to go to the site and app settings. This is where you'll come back. Most of the content that you just created or customized within the Kelly guide is also available here. So you can change your hero text here. You can change the hero text for the main agent site. You can change your hero images. Those are the big images that pop up behind the search box. You can look at the different pages in the directory within your site. You can see your URL link for the download my app. This is where we can change the theme between red and dark. In the site pages, this is essentially a directory tree. We can add additional pages here. That's something we'll look at a future date. But then these, if we want to move them around, we can. So if I want Contact Us to be the first thing that people see, or if I want it to be the last thing that people see, I can move those around there. Time you make a change, it's going to save automatically here. You'll get that green dialog box up at the top. Here's the big important part. Once you've finished completing your site, you must mark this box. Otherwise, your site's not live. So when I click this, use my information to brand my agent site, it's going to ask me again, hey, we told you up front when you went to customize it, you need these pieces. It is asking you a second time, hey, are you sure you got them in there? Because there are legal ramifications to whether or not you did upload the correct stuff. If we acknowledge and continue, agent site branding was enabled successfully. All right, so now if we go back to agent site pages, we'll have the same link here. Once we click on that, now understand the first time you set this up, it may not be available immediately from the first time you go. Sometimes with hosting, it takes a few minutes to kick over. It can take a few hours. It looks like in this case, it branded immediately. So I can see the silly title that I wrote in, creative thing. And all these pages are now live. Everything we just customized. That's the basics, folks. There's a lot that you can do in customizing it in the future, but at the very least, you can get it started. What questions do you guys have as we've got just a moment left?
I have a quick clarification. So for instance, that the bio, you had said that you could come back and edit it, but isn't it true that you have to basically redo the entire thing over again? You can't just go in and edit the bio or one of those pages if you left any of that off.
That should not be true. So let me share this real quick, and I can show you very briefly. So if we're on our agent site pages, we can see the 3 pages that we have customized here now. So if I want to go to the About Me, you know what? This has changed a little bit.
Yeah, it used to say edit and delete.
Right.
Now it.
We no longer have the ability. So you can go back through and run, all of your information will be retained in here. And so we can simply save and continue and skip forward. So if we want to complete our bio later on, if we want to change our bio, we can do that here.
I'm going to say that it's probably still a little glitchy and some of the information will be missing. I have found that I created a note on my computer and just have copied that text into a note. And so when I go in, any of those paragraphs that magically go missing, I can just copy and paste it right back in.
Okay, that's good work, Kelly.
Was,
I'd love to pair with you and find out which pieces are missing specifically. I think those could be really good to turn up. I know they want to button up any issues they're finding on that. Make sure all the content stays.
I have a follow-up question to that. I think
Right.
I think I know what she's talking about because I've already gone through the whole process with mine, and it would only save up to after the bio. It would save that, but it was the team, the About Us, and I think it was the About Us and the page after that it kept having issues with. Anyway, so now that my site is up and running, of course I added a couple of different pages to it. But now if I go back to try to edit, kind of like what you just did right now, on the team, because instead of the teams, what I did, I put information for buyers and sellers, and then the lower one, I put information for investors. So wanting to edit that, it actually started my page all over again, like it deleted everything. So is that normal?
No, it's not. And I think most of these are going to be tied to one central issue, and that's cached information on your computer. The reason that I use an incognito window in Chrome is because it doesn't pull any of the cached information. If you go back through the guide and you have cached information, there's a chance that your computer is automatically going to be sending information up, or it's going to pull the original version of the guide that doesn't have your customized thing. So the database command may still know how you customized it before, but your computer may forget that you entered new information. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the simple way around that is if you're going to go back and edit that Kelly guide again, close out of your Chrome browser, open up a new incognito browser all over again, and then go back and do it again. It doesn't, I don't believe that occurs with everybody, but it does from time to time. And most of the time I find it's because of cached data on that computer specific. So awesome. I appreciate you bringing that up. If you guys continue to have those issues, please, your tech ambassadors, your market center leadership wants to know about the bugs that we're hearing. We've got entire teams working and a regional effort to pass up through our tier 2 support to make sure and get these things addressed.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thank you all so much for being here today. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Thanks, Seth. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.